Good morning. Welcome to the first Dunn Wisdom Morning Show for 2024. I am so happy to have the privilege of showing up for you and for me, and of course, for God and the Holy Spirit. So, my name is Melissa P. Dunn, and I am going to be your guide for the next half hour. The Dunn Wisdom Morning Show, I take great pride and privilege in introducing you to people and topics designed to help you to live the life and have the business and career of your dreams. And so in today's show, I am going to be sharing with you a process, a framework called the Dunn Wisdom Way that's really designed to have you take a spirit-led approach to creating the life and the business of your dreams. And let's just dive right in it. By the way, actually, before I dive in, y'all, let me tell you, 2024 is going to be an amazing year. Have you already felt it? Have you already taken the time to sit down and make your resolutions? Or better yet, allow Spirit to guide you and give you vision for what this year could be like for you, for your family, and for your business or your career, right? So this process I'm going to share with you today. If you've been following the show for a while, then you've heard me talk about Dunn Wisdom Way. I did a show earlier. I kicked off season 3 of the show, sharing with you this process called the Dunn Wisdom Way. And in that series, I basically just kind of gave you an introduction. Today, in this 3-part series, this is part 1, I'm going to be sharing with you the actual framework. And it's a framework that I've used to move my life and my business forward, to take me from being so depressed and feeling hopeless and hurting because of the loss of a child, to now where I'm, though I still feel moments of sadness, I'm upbeat and happy most of the time, right? No matter what the circumstances are going on in my life. I've learned by working this process that I can bloom where I'm planted, no matter what the environment looks like or feels like. So I'm going to be sharing with you the framework today. So, Supercharge Your Success for 2024, the Dunn Wisdom Way. And this is going to be all about progression, not perfection, right? Because as I'm sharing with you this PowerPoint, I'm noticing that it kind of shifted a little bit, but we're going to move together, right? So what is the Dunn Wisdom Way? Well, it is a spirit-led framework for life and entrepreneurship that unlocks the power within us to create meaningful and purposeful journey. The truth is that you can do or have anything that you want in life, right? So number 1, you are source. You are a creative being, right? And when you connect to source, which for me, I call source God, for other people, you may call it something completely different. But once you connect to source and get charged up, then everything is possible for you, right? So number 1, you're not alone. We all have a source. Number 2, success is an inside out job. Number 3, you get to decide what success looks like for you. And you have the ultimate creation power, right? So in other words, your words and your thoughts are creating the life. What you're thinking today, how you're feeling today, is setting you up for the life that you're going to live in 10, 15, 30 years, or even tomorrow, right? So it's intentional. It's important for us to be intentional about our thoughts, because success is an inside out job. I mean, any kind of invention that you've ever thought about, this glasses case, somebody had to think about it before the design actually came into fruition. Okay. So that's a piece of what I want you to know. That's some basic truths. Now, this framework, right, is if you put it into practice, it's going to really help you to create the business and the life that you want. And it's really about cultivating your mind and your habits so that they align with the actions that's required in order for you to have the business and life that you want. And so the first part is for you to really seek wisdom. How do you define wisdom? Well, it is a body of knowledge and principles that guides your actions and shapes your decisions. And I'm going to take a deep breath right now, because I realize that I'm rushing through the lesson and I really deserve to be present and available so that I can deliver the message in a way that is inspired divinely. And so you're actually watching me right now practicing one of the foundational principles, which is really to tap into the inner wisdom that we have. Okay, so I want you to understand that wisdom is a body of knowledge or principles that guides your actions and shapes your decisions. So here is the framework, y'all. Boom! I told y'all in previous episodes the way. Today I am outlining the actual formula, the foundation, the framework. So it's the foundation, right, which is wisdom, the way, which is the path, and of course the execution, the act of getting things done in excellence that then yields you the results that you're seeking, right? So you've got to build the foundation, find the way, execute it in order for you to get the results. So that in essence is really the Dunn Wisdom framework. So what does a foundation look like? Here it is, y'all. This is it. It is really a 6-step process that is really important in order for you to connect to your inner wisdom, right? So the first part of that process is assessing your life. And for me, this is really an important first step. You've got to know where you are right now in order for you to be able to figure out where you want to go, right? So, perfect example. I started my journey, my health and wellness journey at 215 pounds. 215 pounds. I remember before I got pregnant in 2002, I think I was weighing in at like 184 pounds. And I said back then, again, mind you, I was pregnant in 2003 and it is now 2024. I said back then that, after I had Uriel, I think at one point when I weighed in, I was 205 pounds at the time. But back then I said, well, I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to get back to where I was, even better after I had the baby. Then we got pregnant with Maya again and I lost Maya. And so for years, I have been holding on to this weight. And it took me a lot of coaching sessions and praying for me to finally realize that I was holding on to the weight in part because, I had failed pregnancies. And so I was trying to maintain the feeling of being pregnant, hoping for a different result, which obviously was insane, right? But that's the journey I had to go through. And so for me, when I finally decided to take a spiritual as well as a physical approach to my weight loss, and I decided to apply the principles in the Dunn Wisdom Way to having me get healthy, the first part of that process was for me to figure out where I was. And so I had to understand emotionally, what was I thinking about my body? Emotionally, what was I feeling about my weight loss? And I had to do a lot of deep searching, a lot of deep digging in order for me to figure it out, right? And so I'm actually going to announce today that I got on the scale this morning, you guys, and I am now officially, for the first time since I got pregnant, I am now 184 pounds. 184 pounds. And this has been a goal of mine for, Uriel would have been 20 years old, right? This has been a goal of mine for 20 something years. And at my heaviest, when I was running for office, I was 215 pounds. So I'm from 215 to 184 pounds. And I didn't start to see some real changes until I started to make this process that I'm teaching you, this framework that I'm teaching you, is what really helped me in that area of my life and so many others, right? So how do you assess your life? Well, you're going to look at your life in these areas, and I've listed them here for you. Then look at your mind, your body, your spirituality, your relationships, as well as your finances, right? And then I have actually a survey that I use, that I give my clients and the folks in my mastermind, that helps them to kind of assess where they are. So that's really the baseline. You got to know where you are right now in order for you to be able to figure out exactly where you need to go. Okay, so that's the first part of the framework. The second part is align with your core values. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, we each have a way, a characteristics, a way of being that's really important to us. It is those things that are the non-negotiables, right? Like when you think about the type of job that you want. Well, is it important for you to be able to work from home? Is that a non-negotiable, right? When you think about the type of person that you want to be, is it important to you that you're honest? Is it important to you that you keep your word? Is it important to you that you honor your commitments? Is it important to you that you have a sense of freedom and autonomy? Whatever it is, you've got to take the time to figure out at the core of who you are, what is it that's true for you? What is it that's essential for you in the way that you move through the world and in the way that you allow other people to kind of move with you through the world? Your core values then becomes your boundaries. It then becomes the things that's important for you, so that as you're making decisions about your life and your business and your career and your family, that you make decisions that align with your core values, okay? So I hope that makes sense for you. If it doesn't, and you have a question, type it in the chat, and I'm happy to kind of give you more information. So on the screen right now, you see some examples of what a core value could look like, right? Equity, respect, trust, honesty. If you're thinking about a relationship, is monogamy a core value? Is that something that's important to you? So you've got to know what your non-negotiables are for yourself and for the way you move through the world. Then, of course, connect to source. This is, I have to tell you, a game changer for me. I have, again, remember, this foundational piece is wisdom. And so for me, when I make time for a spiritual practice, it really sets me up to win for the day. And whatever that practice looks like for you, however which way you connect to source. For me, I spend time, I have a prayer journal, I pray, I read the Bible, I meditate, I go for a walk, and now I'm, being more intentional about treating my body like a temple by feeding it fruits and beverages and, vegetables and things that really honor my body, right? So whatever that is for you, make sure that you connect to source and that you anchor yourself. That is really an important part of the foundational practice that's going to help you to have the business and life that you are dreaming about. Next, clarify your vision. Y'all, listen, if you're foggy and you don't know where you want to go, you don't know what your core values are, you're not really sure whether you want to wear red shoes today or black shoes tomorrow, that's not going to help you. You have to be very clear and intentional about what it is that you want. What's your vision for your family? What is your vision for your romantic relationships? What is your your vision for your business? What is your vision for how you lead, for how you serve, for how you show up in the world? Clarify your vision. Spend time doing deep soul searching, figuring out what it is you really want. And, these steps build on each other. So once you understand where you are, you have a baseline because you did your life assessment, right? You understand your core values. Now you're going to take that and look at what your vision is for your life, for your business, and do it for every single area. One of the exercises that I do and that I advise the women in my mastermind to do is to take out a page in your journal and write at the top of your page your health. Let's take something simple. Write health at the top of your page, and then just free write. What does your health look like? How much do you weigh? What are you eating? Imagine the person 3 to 5 years in the future that has the healthy lifestyle or the healthy body that you would like to manifest in this life, right? What does she look like? How does she walk? How does she move in the world? And it's the same thing for your career, right? If you are currently working for somebody, but you're dreaming about starting your business, imagine yourself 5-10 years in the future and journal, just free write about exactly what that looks like. That process that I'm explaining to you right now is called scripting. Just write it out, okay? And that is going to help you to clarify your vision. And it's with the clear vision, right, that you're now in a position to start calling it to you, right? To start planning for it, to start taking the inspired action that's required in order for you to give birth to the vision. So be really clear about your vision. And then anchor your faith. This part is, I think, a part that for me is one of the most important things. And I have to tell you right now in my business, it's growing in leaps and bounds. We're busier now than we've ever been, but it's all meaningful work, right? And so with my business, with my job as a public servant in the city of Lauderhill, with the foundation, I'm juggling a lot of hats and I'm calling in a husband, right? So I think, earlier this week, I was feeling a little bit of anxiety because when I look at my calendar and I see how busy it is, then I started to allow myself to feel a little anxious, to feel a little overwhelmed. And then I reminded myself, wait, girl, who are you? And I reminded myself not only of who I am, but whose I am. And that calmed me right down. But I did that. I was able to do that. I was able to stop the spiral down into the negative Nancy land because I was anchored in my faith and in a spiritual practice. And so now I'm really intentional. I'm up every morning between 4 and 5 o'clock. I'm getting myself ready. I'm doing a little light housekeeping from 5 to 6. I'm spending time with God. From 6 to 8, I'm taking care of my body. I am walking, I'm running, I'm doing meal prep. And all the while I'm listening to spiritual music that really anchors me. Okay. And that's an important process for me to go through because now, my day runs full steam from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So, but I need that time. I need that time to anchor myself so that I can fill my own cup and give from my overflow. So anchor yourself with some sort of spiritual practice, whatever that looks like for you. Next, activate the Holy Spirit. This is something that I have learned for me. In fact, I'm now learning to practice going into every conversation and bringing my help with me. Taking a deep breath first, and really just saying, okay, speak through me right now, activate, so that whatever words come out of my mouth really are in alignment with the will of God for my life. And so, this is so different for me. I struggled, and even as I'm speaking now, I'm still feeling a little tightness in my throat because, I'm certainly not a preacher. That is definitely not my calling. But I do want to live my life in such a way that when people see me, they see God through me. That I show up as somebody that's honest. I show up as somebody that's kind. I show up as somebody that's loving. I show up as somebody that is compassionate. And in order for me to show up that way, it requires me to prune the parts of me that are out of alignment with that. It requires for me to speak in a way that's different, which is what I'm doing right now, right? I as a businesswoman in the past, I have always done work on my own strength. As an elected official, I've always privately went to God first when any decision had to be made. But this is the first time I'm publicly really going all in and sharing this framework detail to detail as it was downloaded to me. And, there's a little bit of anxiousness because I'm like, well, what are people going to think? What are people going to say? And when I go into things with my own strength, then those kinds of thoughts take the lead. However, when I invite God and the Holy Spirit into the conversation, then those thoughts have no choice but to disappear, right? And so this is why, for me, this is an important part of the framework. Activate the Holy Spirit by inviting him into every single conversation, every single meeting, every single encounter. You don't have to do it by yourself because you have a help. So here is the question. The question is, are you ready to live that kind of spirit-led approach to life and to business? I can tell you, for me, it has brought me a lot of freedom. If you have been watching this show for a while, you would have heard me say at one point in my life that I was so filled with grief and anxiety and depression over the loss of my children and over life just feeling so heavy that at one point I literally felt like I was buried alive and just literally breathing through a straw. And so I can tell you that living like that, I was trying to do everything by myself, by my own strength, working myself, hiding myself in my work, taking on projects, going a million miles an hour. And then my body was just like, okay, stop, you got to rest. And then back then I would get sick every now and then. I even ended up with a mini stroke at one point in my life because I was really trying to do everything on my own. Well, the Dunn Wisdom Way is what was shared with me, a process that I have been putting into practice consistently for the past year and a half that has increased my freedom, decreased my anxiety, increased my confidence, decreased my stress, decreased my fear, decreased my worry, because I am clear that I am not my own source. I am clear that my clients, whether they pay their invoices on time or not, they are not my source, right? God is my source, and he provides the resource through other people that then allows me to be able to meet my financial obligations and then allow me to then bless other people. And so I really encourage you to consider the possibility that maybe if you're in business, that you can be in business and still run your business in a way where your CEO is not you, but God. If you're in business and you're running a business, that you can have a conference room table and you're sitting at one end and he's sitting at another. that if you're running a business, that you can do it in such a way that you treat your customers well, that you treat your employees well, that your business has impact, that your business is a source of good in this world. I believe that it's possible for you to do good and make money. You don't have to choose either or. It can be both and. And so this Dunn Wisdom Way, this first framework that I rolled out for you today, which is the foundation based on wisdom, is what's created a lot of freedom for me in my life. And so I'm sharing the framework with you here for the first time. A little bit nervous, and I have to tell you, I should have done this like a week ago. I worked on this presentation during the Christmas holidays, and it has taken me 2 weeks to get up here to share this. And so I'm happy that I did. And I hope that it really touched you. And if it did, please do share what came up for you, what you learned about the process. And then join me next Wednesday when I will share with you part 2 of the 3-part framework that's designed to help you to use a spirit-led approach to life and entrepreneurship. I really wish that you have an amazing week. Know that you are not alone. Know that you are enough, and know that love and prosperity and health is absolutely your birthright. Okay? Be well, everyone. Have a great week. And remember, be kind and loving to yourself today. You absolutely deserve it.